Okay, so I'm just making this quick video to help if anybody finds this useful for their kids. My kid is a visual learner, and so we were doing regrouping with multiplying double digits, and they want us to regroup and then multiply. But one thing I found is that my daughter really needs these lines to separate things out, and even over here, I put lines vertically and horizontally to show the place values, and then we name them. So over here we have the first row down here after we regroup, so we regroup them over, right? And then the first line is the carryover line. So this first line is just for carrying numbers over, and sometimes we carry over into different columns, but that's just kind of, or different rows I should say, that's just kind of our starting point. And then over here, the first one will be units. I put U for units, T for tens, and then if there are hundreds, then we could do hundreds. For this problem, we'll end up with a lot actually. So, but it's nice to have extra rows, and then you can just keep going, and wherever you stop, then you add. So let's just show how this works. It's kind of clever. I think it's helping us a lot to visualize the place values. So we're going to multiply, right? And I always tell her that each of the bottom digits, the units, the tens, and if we have hundreds, they each get to dance with each of the upstairs partners. So we have 6 times 2, and we're not going to put it here because this is for carryover. 6 times 2 is 12. So we're going to put the 2, and then our carryover will go up here. And because we're doing the regrouping in place values, we're going to put that as a 10 in parentheses. Now it's going to be 6 times 40. My pencil. Okay, and we're going to carry over because it's going to the hundreds now, so we're going to put a 200 here. Okay, now for when we go to the tens turn, I like to put a 0 here because, again, we're visual, so it helps her. We could even put a 0 here if we want, just so that there's a nice visual. So 60 times 2, 6 times 2 is 12, and then because our hundreds carryover is over blocked off, I like to do it just to the next one down. There's always extra room. So we're going to put a 100 here because it's the carryover, right? And now it's the 60 times 40. So we've got the 2 zeros, and then we've got the 4, and then some people will just put the 2 there because we're not dealing with the thousands column, but I think we want to get that in their heads that this is what we would do. So I'm going to put it over here like that so that we get used to carrying over. And then at this point we add. So I can, sometimes when we get to the end, we make the last line a little darker, and then we add them up. So 270. Line up those zeros. Lining up is really important, at least for my daughter. She really does well with lining them up. And then when you're done, you bring them all back together for the answer. Okay, good. Now, this is our answer, but we're supposed to check it with doing the simple multiplication, but I still like to use the lines. So you can see the first line is the carryover, the units, tens, hundreds, if we need it, but probably we're not, right? Because we only have tens up here. So we don't put the first answer here, we put it here. 6 times 2 is 12. And then we carry over the 1. 6 times 4 is 24. We can put it up here, okay? Then we come down here, we can put a 0. We can put 1 there if we want. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry it over. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry it over. And then we add. Put a 0 there if you want. As visual learners, it just helps. 2, 7, 7, 2. We check our answer, and of course we got it right. So that's how my daughter learns best for this. So it took us a long time to really get this down, and she's not quite down yet with it, but putting the lines and the columns and rows, that really helps her to understand the place value. If we had colored pencils out, we might do different colored lines, like when we get to the end of the, where we're switching over to adding up the answer. We might use a different colored line there. But even here, I'm finding it helpful because if we put it here, if you put the carryover up here, and then when you go to do this one, you might forget and add that onto this multiplication. You don't want that. So anyways, I don't know if that'll help somebody, but it helps us. I'm using big paper for my visual learner who has some sensory processing issues. Big paper, spread it out on in our book. It's literally just a small little square, but we're finding that this helps us understand it a lot better. So I hope that helps. Have a good day.